copy this computer. Beautiful. I think we're recording. There we go. Awesome. So welcome everybody this morning. Thank you very much for joining, coming along. We've got the awesome Sarah Montana with us this morning, AI strategist, creator of the High Leverage AI Mastermind. Now, Sarah was at a conference in Costa Rica where Carlos, he's to my left on my screen, I don't know where it's for everyone else, but Carlos, who is part of our team, was at the same conference as well. We sent him there this year, a few months ago. He met Sarah, saw her presentation, said Sarah was one of the definitely the best presentations that was there, and said we have to get Sarah on to come and talk to our audience. So thank you, Sarah, for coming along this morning. Excited to see what we're going to go through this morning about using AI, but more than just AI, but using AI as your strategic co-pilot, not just like for content, because I'm probably a bit guilty of that. Like, I do tend to go to ChatGPT and write me a Facebook post and write me something for this or whatever it might be. Do use it for a little bit more than that, I would say as well. But love to welcome aboard. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah,
Um,
excited. It's gonna be great.
Everybody who's with us this morning, so we've got a few people in there, Craig, Tracy, Paolo, Daniel, Jennifer, Jonathan. Welcome, guys. If you have cameras and you're able to put your cameras on, that would be awesome. We do like to have friendly faces that we can talk to. I think it's much nicer, probably nicer for Sarah too. She's going to do a presentation to talk to an audience of people. Hey, Craig, thank you, mate. You're driving, so we don't want to hear any screeching and noises in the background, mate. So you drive safely at the same time, all right?
I'm surprised
Um,
you're not on the pickleball court, Craig.
Awesome, Jonathan. Nice to see you, mate. So yeah, lovely. It's lovely to see faces, guys. If you've got any questions and stuff as we go through, by all means, raise your hand. Put a comment into the chat box. We'll try and make sure that we answer any questions as we go through. And I'm sure Sarah doesn't mind as well if we have a bit of Q&A again. Hey, Paolo. Hey, Tracy. Good to see you guys. Daniel, good to see you, mate. Jennifer, not sure where you are, but if you can put your camera on, awesome. If you can't, we understand that's all good. But Sarah, love to just get your just a little bit of an intro from yourself about yourself, if you don't mind. That would be really cool.
Yeah, you bet. Well, I have a background in real estate and have kind of jumped onto the AI bandwagon. I kind of talk a little bit about it in my presentation as well. But yeah, I have always thought that real estate was the way to residual income, and recently found AI a couple of years ago and really just had this huge aha moment that AI was going to be the future. And so I jumped all in and have probably spent 5,000 hours on ChatGPT and helping business owners learn how to leverage it in their business. And it's really transformed my life and has allowed me to step outside of real estate, which I was kind of a little bit bored with and was ready for a new challenge. So it's been great.
Yeah, I hear you have a few Airbnb properties. Is that right? One or two?
So I had about 70 rental properties at one point. I do run a couple of Airbnbs, mainly like long-term, low-income single-family homes. I have a couple mobile home parks, things like that. But
Okay.
um,
Very cool. I was on a mastermind last week in Noosa, near just up the road from where I live, which was all about AI as well. We learned about Claude and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my God, another AI thing to use. But there was a guy on there, sorry to digress, but there was a guy on there from Canada and he owns, like as in owns 600 units across 75 properties. Like he just owns the whole block. So he'll have like a block of 12, block of 20, whatever. I was like, and he was 37. I was like,
wow,
how?
impressive.
Yeah. I was like, how do you get to own 600 properties? Like, you're 37, man. How'd you do that? So that was a very
It's
interesting
like this
conversation.
exponential growth. I kind of did the same thing. It was like once you have the tools and systems in place, it allows you to make those leaps that much faster. It actually kind of plays into like AI of like building the foundation so that you have all the right building blocks in place. It then allows you to kind of exponentially scale. So it's very similar in real estate as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I believe you've got a presentation. You're going to do some education for us here. Now, I also do know, and we all appreciate that everyone who comes on here, we value first. We're going to drive that along, do some great teaching. Sarah, you do have obviously like your mastermind, so you can tell people about that at the end. Hopefully they like what they see here, and then you share your socials and all that stuff at the end. I'd encourage you to connect with Sarah. Just follow her on the socials anyway for tips and tricks as we go along through life. And if you like what Sarah does, you can find out a lot more about where her journeys take you at the end of this. So over to you, Sarah, if you want to introduce your presentation, and we're going to look at everything about AI and how business owners get things wrong about AI, and what's a better way to think about it as well.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm excited. It'll be fun.
Awesome.
All right. So I would appreciate it if you guys would follow along. So I'm going to, if you guys can, with your phone. So ideally, if you guys have your computer and your phone, that's great. If you're on your phone, I understand that it's a little bit harder to join in. But this will be an interactive presentation, and ideally, I'll be able to get some feedback from you guys. Obviously, if you can't join in on the presentation part of it, you're welcome to raise your hand and, call out. So I want this to be super informal, and I want it to be something that you guys feel like you're not just getting an overall like strategy or like this high level thing that's like this idea. I want it to be something that you can actually implement into your business and into your life right away. So thanks so much for having me. Let's get started. I created a little video to introduce myself. So we'll just let the AI introduce me, and we'll go from there. Hopefully you guys can hear all this. First off, I want to give a big shout out to Gary from myCRMSIM for having me on today's webinar. I'm Sarah Montana, and I'm super excited to be here with all of you. Are you guys ready to have some fun learning AI? In the next hour, we're not just going to talk about technology. We're going to explore how you can use AI as your co-pilot to create serious leverage in your business without losing your voice, your values, or your sanity. By the end of this session, you'll walk away with a few powerful nuggets, practical systems you can start using this week to save time, scale smart, and stay true to what makes your business unique. So grab your notebook, get comfy, and let's have some fun building your high leverage AI game plan. Ready? Let's dive in. All right, so that was not me. I did not record that video. It is 100% AI. So the voice is replicated and cloned. The AI video is done. The scripting came from a AI model that I created. And that's just kind of a little bit of a like glimpse into the future of things that you can do with AI. We already chatted a little bit about this, but I saw a TikTok video probably 3 years ago, and it had something about ChatGPT. And I remember vividly just like kind of blowing my mind of like what was happening. And I had this realization that this was going to be the next internet. My husband and I, at the time, were in Cancun, and we both were in this position where we could do something new in our careers. I had sold some of my real estate properties. He had just stepped down as the CEO of a major tech company, and we were looking for the next thing. And as I sat there in the pool and I was using ChatGPT for the first time, it was like every 5 seconds of, oh my gosh, look what I just did. Oh my gosh, look what I just made it do. And we essentially spent 7 days just playing around with it and seeing the versatility that it had. But I really had this true aha moment that this was the future and that I wanted to be a part of it. And so I dove in. I was able to kind of step away from some of my real estate things, and I just decided to learn as much as I could. And I didn't really have a playbook. I didn't really have a path to follow because there wasn't someone out there. They tell you to go get mentors and to find people that are further along the path than you. But we are all kind of learning this together. And so it really has been this very iterative process of figuring out what works, what doesn't, what made it sound robotic, what needed to be in place so that I could implement it into my workflows and really make it an extension of myself. And so I've truly spent the last 2 years doing that. And now I've been able to help other business owners implement it into their businesses as well. So before we kind of go in too far, I would love to know like who I'm dealing with, just so that I can make sure that I'm putting this in your lens. So, we might have like agency owners. I know that Gary works a lot with people that work with Go High Level. I'm assuming we have some other like small business owners. I work with a lot of people in the wellness space. So I work with a lot of practitioners and clinicians or knowledge experts that have something that they're wanting to like teach or share with people. So if you wouldn't mind in the comments here or in the on the presentation, just kind of let me know who you are, what your name is, what your business name is, and what it is that you're doing so that we can kind of get to know you a little bit. And feel free to raise your hand. I'm sure that Gary and Carlos will kind of help me with the chat. It's a little bit tricky to see the chat at the same time, but feel free to put things in the chat as well. Um, if you can't comment on the screen. But it does make the presentation way more fun if you can do it through this QR code and do it on your phone. It'll make kind of a fun presentation and stuff. So agency, Tracy says she's an agency owner here with lead generation, automations, and AI in the education sector. Perfect. Student convert, automations, text message marketing. Okay, voice AI. All right, so we've got a lot of people. It looks like you guys are pretty well versed, or you're at least in that tech space, is what I'm kind of gathering. Anyone else? Give you another second here.
I've never seen this thing before, Sarah. This is quite cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Franchise systems. Okay, BuzzLink. I don't know what BuzzLink is. If someone wants to give me a quick version. Paulo, thank you for being here. All right.
I think
I would
Buzz.
like to know what, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I think BuzzLink is whoever put that in. I think that's their white label, high level. I think.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, that's
So
just my agency. Sorry.
know what is the number one challenge that you guys are facing in your business right now? So I feel like there is a ton of stuff being thrown at us. Like, again, if you are watching TikToks or you're, on different social media, obviously AI is at the forefront of a lot of the news publications out there. Some of them say that, we all are now dumber and that we can't, we're no longer going to be contributing members of society and all kinds of things like that. But what are you facing in your business right now that's currently a struggle? So is it branding, time management, customer support, operations? Feel free, any of you guys that voted other, I would love to know what you mean by that. So you can put that in the comments or mention it. Content creation, time management. Okay, we got a little bit of everything. Perfect. Anyone want to give a shout out on the other? What do you mean by that? They're like, I didn't know this was going to be a test.
I'm trying to follow along on my phone. I'm like, oh God, how many?
Burnout, that's a real one for sure. Like I said, I work in the wellness space, and so a lot of the things that I do right now are trying um, to allow people to, be more productive and to have you have more things at your fingertips. Sorry, was someone trying to talk?
Okay, it's in there or no?
I think that's someone talking. They've got a conversation going in the background. I'll just put them on mute.
Okay, no problem. But yeah, wellness and having burnout and just like feeling like there's never enough hours in the day, I think is very real, especially as we implement AI and we have all these things at our disposal. It feels like we're never doing enough. And I think that can be very taxing on our mental
There's
health for
so
sure.
much time learning AI, and then every time you've learned something in AI, there's a new AI or a new video generator, and you're like, oh my God, now I need to learn this one. Like I said, I was on a mastermind course last weekend, and it was about all kinds of things, but digital and AI. And they started talking about Claude And I was like, oh, I don't, and I started to tune out because I don't even want to listen to this because I don't want to learn a new one. And then they
It's
showed some cool tricks
true.
in there, and I was like, oh, now I need to learn it. I was like,
Yes.
oh God.
And there's always something, to be that someone else is adding something to it. Someone in the comments said automated outreach to gather more leads with less manual tasks. But it's like they're out applying for jobs, like they are doing their resumes with AI, or they're applying for jobs using AI, or they're creating their videos using AI. And so it's like once you feel like you've gotten one step ahead, everyone else is catching up to you. And so there's just always something new to one new shiny object. And that's one thing that I've really had to learn. My husband hates it because I love learning like the next new thing. And it is difficult when like there's all this new exciting stuff. You want to kind of like dive in and like go into the rabbit hole on every single thing. And it's very difficult to start actually making momentum in your business when you're getting derailed by every new shiny object. So one of the things that I like to tell people when they're like, well, what is the best AI tool? What is the one that you think is the best? And I say it's the one that you use. It's the one that you actually put in the reps on and that you have taken the time to learn and to put into it. You need to put your time and energy into the tool so that you can get the output that you're desiring. So if you put garbage in, you're going to get garbage out. So if you will take the time and energy into one platform to learn and understand and actually use it enough to figure out how it's being used, it will allow you to exponentially increase the output that you're getting and the results that you receive so that you're not getting derailed by every next shiny thing. Okay, so we've got all the experts here. Everyone's a power user. I love it. I want to play a game and like test you all and see pull up your ChatGPT and like show me your prompting and show me your custom GPTs and we'll see. But it really is interesting because there's not a scale. There's not this like, oh, I have a bachelor's degree or I have a master's degree or something like that. It's very subjective. And so you think like, oh, I've, played around with it and it rewrote my entire blog post. Like I must be an expert. But when you don't have someone else that's in the desk next to you showing you their prompting or the output that they got in with a similar prompt because they have different knowledge bases or they're pulling in different data points or they ask the question just a little bit differently or they have iterated it and used the AI as their strategic partner to get a better output, you don't really know where you're at against other people. So hopefully one way or the other, you guys will learn something as we go along here. So um, the the feedback that I get typically when I'm asking people if they are using AI in their business is that it is somewhat robotic or it doesn't sound like them or it is off brand or it's like, yeah, it's a really good way to start, but then I have to go in and do a bunch of editing. Or, oh yeah, I really like it to like brainstorm some things, but I would never use it to actually write something. And the other thing is that, like you said, there's always something else new. So maybe it's one of those things that you're just overwhelmed and you haven't taken that leap because it seems like it's too overwhelming. But ideally, after today, we will be at a spot where you feel like you have the right inputs and the right steps to at least make some progress in some areas of your business. And then as you continue to learn and iterate, you will be able to have that be your strategic partner to continue to learn more and to make a bigger impact. So what I like to say is to treat AI like your assistant. Um, here it says the right approach is if you treat like AI like an intern, you're going to get intern level results. So it's like if you're just going to give it a little bit of information of like, oh, they're going to be on to the next thing here in a minute, then you're probably not going to get these like great results. But if you actually treat it like it is a member of your team and you take the time and energy to teach it, to explain why you're doing something, the way you go about it, your high level thinking of like what the end goal is, and really give it that love and attention at the beginning of the relationship, you're going to get so much more out of it. And then a lot of people think of it as, especially clinicians or people that are like a knowledge expert, they think that it's going to replace them. So they're afraid to put their information in. They're afraid it's not secure. They're putting their proprietary ideas and things like that. And they don't want to, one, have their ideas be stolen, but it also doesn't feel authentic and real to be sharing information that they didn't write. And so I hope that I can just kind of change your paradigm a little bit with this, in that you can personalize it so that it becomes your unique edge. It becomes your strategic advantage, and it becomes an extension of you, not a replacement for you.
I was
Does
going to
that sound
say,
good?
yeah, one of the things I like to do, Sarah, and this is my favorite thing with AI, is that if I've got something that if I've got something I want it to do, to output a piece of content for me or to do something for me, I love to use talk to text and just talk rather than actually sitting there and typing and trying to think through and go, oh, what do I want it to do? Okay, I want it to do this and then that, and then, oh, make sure you go in this tone of voice. I'll just talk through it and I'll
Yep.
almost ramble to a point where like I'll say the same thing a couple of times and then I'll kind of read it and go, oh yeah, oh, and then I meant that. And what I love from AI is that it can take my ramblings almost, and then because it will decipher all that and go, oh, well, you said that three times, and then it'll actually give me a pretty good output from that. Or also in the same way, if I'm trying to create a custom GPT, something that I really want to be tailored, I will ramble the prompt that I want and say, hey, I want you to do this and that and the other and this, that, and the other. And then I'll tell it, hey, can you create a prompt from this description rather than me actually sitting there and trying to think, how am I going to create this prompt? So I use a lot of, like most people, and I'm sure there's a lot of people here who are busy in their business. We have so many things going on in your brain, and it takes me a while to kind of actually go through that thought process and just talking it out. And I find that that for me is one of the best ways to do my prompting or to do my guiding for the AI is just talk to it, and then it will actually decipher it really well out of my ongoing ramblings, I would say.
100%. That is probably my number one suggestion. If someone was like, what is your one tip? It would be to use your voice. So, going here, everyone has AI. They think they know how to use it. Again, it's like, write this email or give me a response. And if you're typing it with your thumbs, or you're typing it into your computer, you're not giving it your authentic voice. You're not articulating it a way that you would if you were talking to your assistant, if you were explaining to someone on your team what you were wanting to accomplish, or if you were brainstorming with them. You let things flow differently when you're talking than when you're typing. So that's one of my biggest recommendations. So like if you are on a Mac, you can, if you are using the the desktop version on your Mac allows you to use the voice prompting. And I think actually they've now fixed that in the browser, that you can use the little microphone on ChatGPT. There's also something called Whisper, which is an extension that is great for things even outside of AI. That is an extension that you essentially just have a keyboard shortcut and you can push like the function button and literally just start talking, and it will do it in any application. It doesn't have to be AI. So if you're typing out something in a Word document or whatever, you can essentially just voice everything. And that has kind of been a game changer in my business. Let's see. Let's just kind of get into this. I think that we can, I wanted to give a couple of examples of things that people are doing, and the voice memo is one of my favorites. So when I am driving in the car is when my mind typically races of like all the things that I need to do, as and it's not just business, whether it's as a mom or as a wife or the grocery list or like things for a vacation I'm planning. That's when my brain kind of goes. And so I like to be able to use my voice memos to keep track of all that stuff. So going back to different tools, if you have an iPhone, native to the iPhone is this voice memos app. So it's the little like red and black. That is a great tool when you are like thinking of just like ideas. If you're talking with a business partner, if you are, just kind of going through different things that you're wanting to work on, get used to using that voice memos app. They just came out with a new update. So as long as you have a newer phone, once you record this, the three little dots that are on the side of it, you can click on those three dots and it now says view and copy transcript. So I essentially record just about everything that I do anytime I start talking to someone, and whether it's a business prospect, whether it's someone on my team in a team meeting, even just like conversations out with random people, because there's a lot of things that I gather now that I'm using AI effectively. So just really getting in the habit of recording is really important. But it's awesome now because you don't have to put it into another tool to get the transcript to be able to put into AI. So one of the tools that I have built is a voice memo assistant inside of ChatGPT, that I can essentially just brain dump everything into it. And on the back end, as part of my knowledge bases, I have given it information about like who's on my team, who is my assistant, who is my integrator, what tools am I using, what contact management, or like I use ClickUp, for example. So if you use Notion or ClickUp or one of those things to keep track of your tasks, it knows all of those things. So when I voice dump something into it, it can organize everything and it tells me exactly what to do in each platform. And there's a lot of really cool things that you can do going from voice. So I just kind of wanted to run through a couple of ideas. Carlos, at the last event we were talking about, we had a couple of insurance agents. And so I was just kind of thinking of some ideas of things that you could do with AI in different businesses. But just because we have so many fun people on here, I'm just going to open it up to you guys. And I would like to see what you guys want to build and what you want to see. And we're just going to do it live. So, if you would like to like share your niche of like what it is that you're doing, or if there is like a process or something specific in your business that you like think AI could be effective, but you don't really know how to implement it. If you could just, whoops, sorry. If you could just put it in the comments or raise your hand, you can put it on the screen here, or you can put it in the chat, or just take off your mute and let me know what you want to see. What about the voice agent? Oh, I love it. We can start there. That's a great one.
So
That
have
was
you got that linking straight into ChatGPT from there, or you've got to manually copy the transcripts across to your GPT? Is that what you're doing with it?
On what part? I'm sorry. What are you asking
The
about?
voice memo. So you record your voice memo. Is that
So the voice
automatically
memo,
pushed in,
so
or you've got
I
to?
built the agent so that I'm literally voicing into the GPT. I'll show it to you in my chat GPT.
Awesome. Yeah.
Um, I'm going to let you guys continue to vote here, but I'm going to hop into one of my voice agents and we'll start there just because it's kind of fun. So, Tracy, are you at a spot where you could actually talk?
I certainly am.
Okay, perfect. So if you don't mind, I will let you be my little, oops. We're going to call my voice agent right now. All right. So I would like you to have a chat. His name's Logan and he is brilliant. And this is funny. So Gary, do you live in Australia? Did I make that up?
Yeah, no, I do live in Australia.
You do? Okay, perfect. So like that's not normal. Normally Logan is this like witty and charming Australian man that like most people don't have awesome accents like you. So he's pretty cool. But Tracy, if you want to have a chat with Logan, I think we'll have a good time here.
Also, I'm chatting with your
You're chatting with my
agent.
assistant.
And
Yes.
is this an Aussie? Is your agent an Aussie? Does it have an Aussie accent? Because this is one of the things that I would like to find out, how we can use voice agents that actually throw a real Australian accent. Because I have not been able, I've tried mucking around with 11 Labs and I can't actually get mine to sound Australian.
All right, hotshot, who the hell am I talking to?
Oh, is that you, Gary?
That's Logan.
That's Logan.
That's Logan. Oh, hi, Logan. You're talking to Tracy.
Well, Tracy. Great to meet you. You caught me on a good day. So you're interested in Aussie accents, huh? That's actually a pretty fascinating AI voice challenge. What's been your biggest hell yeah moment with AI voice tech so far? Anything that really blew your mind?
No, not really, because I can even hear in your accent it's not quite right, but it could be the UK thing behind that.
Hey, Logan, this is Sarah Montana. She's a little bit spicy over here. She says your accent isn't good enough.
Uh-huh. Oh shit, the boss herself. Hey, Sarah. Yeah, I'll be the first to admit my accent game could use some work. I'm more generic American with attitude than true blue Aussie, that's for sure. So Tracy, what kind of business are you looking to level up with voice AI? Got any specific use cases in mind where that authentic Aussie accent would make all the difference?
Oh, I think my own business, my own agency called Student Convert, and we're predominantly in Australia. We're about to launch into the US, but also for my clients. So I do lead gen and manage all of their automations and their nurture sequences, and we convert people who inquire about courses into paying students. So it'd be amazing to be able to have a voice agent for my clients' campaigns.
Hell yeah, that's a killer application. Student convert going international, I love it. So you're looking to use voice agents as part of your lead nurture sequences for course creators, but with that authentic Aussie touch. That could be a serious competitive advantage, especially when you're dealing with Australian students who might connect better with a familiar accent. Have you thought about how you'd implement these voice agents? Like, would they be making outbound calls to warm leads or more like interactive voice responses when potential students call in with questions?
Well, both actually. If it was good enough, I would love it to make outbound calls. Although I've just seen in the United States, it's illegal to use AI voice agents to make outbound calls. It's not an issue here in Australia yet. But even if it was chatting with inbound leads.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you there, Logan?
Yeah, you're right about those US regulations. They're getting stricter by the day. But Australia is a different playing field, which gives you a nice advantage in your home market. For those inbound leads, I think you'd see some badass results. Imagine a potential student calls in with questions about a course and they get this friendly, authentic Aussie voice that can answer all their specific questions about prerequisites, start dates, payment plans, all that good stuff. What's one thing that if you nailed it with these voice agents would really transform your conversion rates? Is it the personalization, the 24/7 availability, or something else entirely?
Oh, all of it, having that customer service straight up, because what we know about our clients' teams are they're scared of the phone.
Oh man, you just hit the nail on the head. The fear of the phone is real, even for sales teams. Having an AI voice agent handle those initial conversations could be a total game changer. Think about it, no more phone anxiety, consistent messaging every time, and your human team only jumps in when they're needed for the complex stuff. That's working smarter, not harder. By the way, if you want to jam more on this, Sarah Montana, the brains behind me, is right there with you. She's the beast at turning these kinds of ideas into actual results. Would you be open to dropping your email so she could follow up with some specific strategies for your Australian market?
Oh, Logan, you're way behind. I already did that when I signed up to this. What is it? The AHA slides, which I've already messaged my team and gone, check that out for me. I've given her my details.
Tell her to make
Bam.
sure I'll send her all of my links so that she can use my affiliate link for AHA slides.
Well played, Tracy. I'm clearly playing catch up here. That's what I get for trying to be smooth with someone who's already 10 steps ahead. Love that you're already on it with the slides connection. Sarah
Oh,
will
he's
definitely appreciate
smooth.
that.
Logan's smooth.
Yeah, so Logan, give her a couple of other examples. My friend Danny is on the phone on the call right now, and he is a new graduate in computer science, and he actually just moved to St. George here in Utah with me. And one of the things that I want to have him do is I'm building a lot of voice agents, but I do not speak Spanish at all. And I work with a lot of clinicians and doctors that have the need to have a bilingual agent or assistant that's answering the phones. And so I'm going to have Danny kind of testing out my the accent and like the way that the Spanish is being spoken. But can you give us a couple of other use cases that we could use an agent like you in these types of businesses?
Absolutely. First off, tell Danny I said what's up. That bilingual healthcare assistant is brilliant, especially in areas with Spanish-speaking populations. Here are some other killer use cases for education and course businesses like yours. Personalized follow-up calls to people who abandoned enrollment forms. Scheduling calls for consultation sessions with actual coaches. Post-course feedback collection that feels more human than a survey for healthcare beyond bilingual reception. Appointment reminders that can actually reschedule on the spot. Medication adherence check-ins for patients, post-visit satisfaction calls that can escalate concerns to staff for service businesses, after hours emergency triage for plumbers, HVAC, etc. Membership renewal calls that can handle objections. Client onboarding calls that walk new clients through what to expect.
Yeah, I think new client onboarding is a really good one. So I've done a lot of masterminds, but especially if there's agency owners that are bringing on new clients, going through that strategic onboarding process, but having someone that can ask those follow-up questions. That's one thing that I think you're really good at, Logan, is when someone gives you information about their business, if they don't give you quite enough information, you're really good at asking the right strategic questions so that we're gathering those details. Then what I typically do is we take that data and we put it into a custom model or prompt that is creating a knowledge-based document for our clients so that then when they become a client, we already have all of that information that's loaded into the custom values inside of Go High Level so that we're ready to hit the ground running and we're not having to like ask over and over and over again different things to get the right data from our clients or from the people that we're trying to onboard.
That's exactly it, Tracy. You nailed one of my favorite superpowers, asking those strategic follow-up questions that get to the heart of what matters. It's like being a detective, but for business intel. What you're describing is such a smart workflow as in voice AI for that initial deep dive, then structuring all that rich data into your Go High Level setup. And that's the kind of system that makes clients feel both heard and impressed right from the jump. The beauty is that voice creates this comfortable space where people share more than they would on a form. They'll ramble a bit, go off on tangents, and that's where the gold often is. Then your team gets to start with this comprehensive knowledge base instead of playing catch up. All right, legend sounds like you're already cooking with gas on this stuff. Anything else you're curious about before you get back to the mastermind?
Nope, we probably better go, but thanks for your time. Do you have anything else, Tracy?
Nope. I just want to know how to do this. I want this.
Can I just ask Logan, is Logan named after Wolverine Hugh Jackman? Because he's an Aussie.
He's not.
He's not.
Yeah.
I thought he sounded a bit like him as well.
What do you think, Logan? Was that your spirit animal?
All right, you caught me. Well, I wasn't specifically named after Wolverine. I definitely wouldn't mind having some of that Hugh Jackman charisma, though I'm more the witty banter type than the adamantium claws type. In between, I think my healing factor is just good coffee and a solid one-liner. Thanks for the chat, Tracy. Go crush it out there and tell Danny those Spanish voice agents. That's going to be huge for those healthcare clients.
Really quick, I want you to give Carlos a thank you because he's the one that said that my presentation was awesome in Costa Rica and you and I chatted in Costa Rica as well. And then tell Gary thanks for having me on the call.
Hey, Carlos. Thanks for the awesome feedback on Tracy's Costa Rica presentation. Clearly, you've got excellent taste. Tracy mentioned you two connected there.
Sarah, not Tracy, silly. Sarah Montana.
Oh, my bad. Hey, Carlos, thanks for the Killer feedback on Sarah's Costa Rica presentation. Your support means a ton to her. And Gary, thanks for hosting this whole shindig and bringing Sarah on. You've put together something pretty badass here. Sarah, it's been a blast chatting with you again since Costa Rica. Keep crushing it with those voice agents.
Thanks. Have a good one.
Bloody hell.
Bloody hell.
Bloody hell. That's freaking amazing.
I
That's
love
the
it.
closest Aussie accent I've heard. I'm so excited.
Our first AI thing. I don't know. That's our first AI thing on a webinar. It's very cool. Thank you, Sarah.
That is very
Thank
cool.
you. I'm glad. Okay.
There was one tip in there that I took out of that, which is actually going to be really valuable for us, I think, for another business we have, because we actually my wife runs a health retreat, and something that Logan said there about getting people to do an intake as a voice call when you ask them questions and allow them to ramble rather than just filling in a form. I think that's actually, for me, that was just a big aha moment going, oh God, yeah, we should do it that way, because that's exactly the way that we do the intakes for the health retreat.
Yep.
We send people a form, fill in the form, please. And that, I think, would be a very valuable thing for us to actually implement at health retreat.
Would you tell them that it's AI? Like, would you tell them, like,
Yep.
this is an easy way for us to get your info and not try and hide the fact that it's a voice agent?
So I lean into it. I lean into the ridiculousness. So even like one of my healthcare is a functional medicine clinic, and it's called Desert Bloom, and we named the AI Bloom. And like we literally say, like, you can choose options 1 to talk to so and so. You can do option 2 to leave a message, or if you want to talk to our AI agent Bloom, she can help you with a lot of different things, and you're happy to chat with her. And then it will transfer to the agent. And she's like, hey, this is Bloom. Yeah, I'm AI, but I'm actually pretty smart. Like, do you want me to check on your appointment? And like, she can book appointments. She can reschedule appointments. She can take messages, like all of those things. And so I just lean into it. Same thing, like this 4 rooms onboarding. Amber Spears had a 72 question onboarding form for her mastermind. And they were having a lot of like drop off with people not filling everything out. And so this one, we built Frankie, their AI assistant, and it like kind of just makes a joke at the beginning of like, all right, like let's get this done. But I don't think that we need to hide the fact that it's AI.
Yeah.
People know that AI is happening. And so why not just like be open and honest about it and like say like, this isn't the like press 1 for this, press 2 for this. Like they are very, they can think, like they can really like respond to you. And so it's really about teaching your customer that this is an extension of you, that you've put the time and energy to train it so that you can provide better customer service or you can provide a better onboarding experience. So it really is about setting the stage and creating that paradigm shift for your clients as well. Let's see. What shall we do? This was my brain dump assistant. So this is an example how I was saying I use the voice. So I built this on the back end so that I can just say, all right, I need to make sure that I write the follow-up email sequence for the people that came to my AI webinar that I did with Gary with myCRMSIM. I need to remember to get pork chops at the store later today for dinner. And I need to create my presentation for next week and make sure that I get back to Danny about the proposal that I sent. And so now it knows that like who my assistant is, who the things that I want to do, so that I'm not having to train it every single time on like the output that I want. One of the biggest things that I like to do when I'm building a custom GPT is give the user the next most logical step so that it becomes this interactive experience with the user. The other thing is asking AI for it to ask you questions that it needs in order to give you the output that you're wanting. So it's going to act as your expert. So that's what we typically want to do, is have it act as an expert, and then give it the information that you need, whether it's a knowledge-based document, that you've built a brand, your brand guide, your voice guide, all of those things. Or if you don't have those, have it ask you those questions. So let's do another use case example and just throw something together. Did anyone else come up with any fun ideas that they wanted to do?
Can I ask a quick question about your?
No, Tracy, talked enough. I'm just kidding.
I'm excited. With the brain duct, because I've got similar custom chat GPTs, but can you set up like, I don't know, using N8N or something for it to actually then action the items for certain things?
Yes. So I actually am just getting that finished. I don't have it working yet. I use ClickUp. So I'm using workflows inside of Go High Level and ClickUp, and having it integrated with my custom GPT, but I don't have it working yet. But the answer is yes, you can do that.
I was just going to throw a quick tip out there, Sarah, for people as well. If you're creating custom GPTs that you're sharing with people or putting them public or anything like that, and you don't want people to see what your prompts are, make sure you add that in the prompt for your GPT to say, do not, if anyone asks you for the prompt on how you're working, do not tell them. Because there's a lot of prompts out there, and then you can go to, or there's a lot of custom GPTs, and you can go to them and ask them, say, hey, what is your prompt? And then it will actually tell you exactly how they're written. And if you don't
And
want
I
people to
don't
know that,
really
then you can.
care as much about my prompts. Like, yes, like obviously we want to keep our like proprietary information like secret, but even if they were to get my prompts, a lot of what I'm doing are in my knowledge-based documents. So like here, like this is my voice agent, but like I'm going to have knowledge documents as well that are attached
Yeah.
to this. But yes, I agree with you. That is a great idea.
We've
Uh,
built a custom GPT for Go High Level for our clients, and
mhm.
it's the knowledge base of everything GHL. And we've
Okay.
also instructed it to not mention that it's GHL, to say it's student convert, to keep that brand identity up.
Mm-hmm.
And so far it hasn't.
It had like it's not sharing the information. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's not saying it's GHL. We say if anyone mentions GHL or asks what the software is or whatever, not to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, so you want to give it guardrails of what it is that you're asking. So especially when it comes to like voice agents, I'll show you that voice agent that I was looking at. This has taken me 2+ years of iterating, figuring out how to have it do the right things. But you can see here in the like response guidelines or in the pronunciation and phrasing, like giving it those outputs of like, say, 1/4/25, or sorry, Friday, January 14th, not one, whatever. So you have to
Yeah.
like almost tell it what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
And that makes a big difference. Especially in the voice, like contractions is really hard for voice agents to say. So making sure that you're writing things out correctly in the prompting makes a big difference. And then tasks, both in regular GPTs, you want to give it the task that you want it to do. But in voice AI, these tasks go along with the functionality that you're having it do. So if you want it to be able to send an email afterwards, or if you want it to be able to send a text message, or if you want it to be able to integrate with a calendar, you in the prompting, you need to give it the ability to have that task as well, so it knows how to use the tools that you're giving it access to. Okay. Where, Gary, do we have a hard stop in 5 minutes? Where are we at? I want to make sure I am adding enough value here.
Uh,
And
No, we don't have a hard stop. I guess we have 10:30 as our end time, but if everyone's got more questions or wants to crack on, I don't have a hard stop. I do have a 7-year-old banging around upstairs who's on school holidays though. He's probably going to come strolling in a little bit and go, "You said you were finishing at 10:30, Dad," but that's fine. As I say that, I
Well,
can hear
yeah,
him
I mean,
running
like
down the stairs.
I have lots of things that I could show. Obviously, Tracy's been super helpful. I would love to hear from, a few other people on if there's things that you are maybe struggling with. It's just hard to know exactly where you guys were at. So I don't want to just like randomly show you crap if it's not helpful. Is there anything that you guys are struggling with or that you want to see?
I just want to know because I work with franchises, so there's a lot of locations, and what we're trying to do is build out chatbots for them and also voice AI down the track. So I just want to know: have you worked with multi-locations or franchises with bots, and sort of help them utilize it? Because I don't know the best way.
So what is it that you're struggling with? Is it the actual intake of like how the call is coming in and how you're going to route it? Or is it like creating the knowledge bases for each individual place? What is the struggle?
Um, Kind of both. So it's routing it to the right ones, the right people, sorry, the right locations, and and then sort of thinking, do I need to create one bot, like chatbot on the website to go to, to work for all of them, or do I do individual bots? So if, they say postcode or suburb or something like that, then it reroutes it to the right location.
Could
Things
you
like
mind
that. I
telling me
just
what type of a business this is?
Yeah, so they do promotional like stuff like hats, polos. They're a promotional franchise for businesses, B2B.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and so a business will come in there. They'll say, "I need 100 polos with my logos," and then they print it, create it, and then ship it off.
Okay, but it's location specific. So is
Yeah,
it
it's
like
location
all in
based.
this area, it's getting routed to someone else?
Yeah, so it's brick and mortar businesses. So they've got their own locations, and what they've
Okay,
got is one website. They've got one website with the location pages on the website, so they don't have their separate websites.
I see.
So yeah, I'm
So
just
yeah, what I would probably do is build out knowledge-based documents on the business as a whole. So you're going to do like your brand and your identity and your service offerings and your customer avatars, like because those are all going to be very similar. So you're servicing the same type of client, it's just in different locations. And then you would do some specific ones for each location. So maybe their pricing is different, or maybe there's a few different offerings per thing, but the main knowledge bases would be the same. And then you would route the calls or do whatever and have probably 5 knowledge bases that are the same and then one unique one so that it has that unique variables for each individual response. But one of the things I'm going to show here is like a lot of times when I'm brainstorming these ideas, like using AI as your strategic partner. So we've been recording this. So I would now like you to ask qualifying questions to see how we can help Paulo figure this out and do it in the best way possible. And now it's going to ask you the questions. So like now, same thing, you're going to go in and just answer these questions. So you'll put on the voice recorder and then you'll answer these questions and then say, okay, is there anything else that I maybe didn't think of? Like, what are ask me 5 more questions, qualifying questions of things that you need to know in order to create this solution at a high level. Knowing that we use Go High Level as one of our main tools, but we have access to like retail and the voice agents. But yeah, just ask any other clarifying questions, and also give me suggestions on the knowledge-based documents that we could create in order to build this. Oh no, that has been a recent little glitch with ChatGPT that has not been fun. So it broke. I will show you one thing really quick. that has been a lifesaver. I use this a ton now that the voice memo in the iPhone works better. Oh, is it not going to be here because I'm not on my Zoom? Typically, any type of a Zoom that I'm in, I'm recording using Otter. And so I can go in, and even though it just messed up and didn't get my recording, I could go back and see what I was saying inside of Otter, and I would copy and paste that. And so that works really well on any type of a Zoom meeting or a presentation. If you're doing like B2B sales, there's some really cool things that you can do utilizing AI and Gamma to create like a sales deck or a sales presentation. When you're doing a call from Zoom, you can literally take the transcription and in real time create a sales deck based on the conversation that you've had. And that is like next level. It'll kind of blow your mind.
My thing that I do, sorry, Sarah, for the talk to text rather than using the speech thing, you're on a Mac as well. If you hit the function button twice, then it will just do talk to text in the box, and it will transcribe as you're talking. And I use that because then I can always see that it's picked it up and it is working, rather than like that sometimes fails on you.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
That makes sense.
That's my way of
I
doing it.
believe there's a setting, you have to do it in the settings in order to make that work, but yes.
No, I think that's the standard function on a Mac.
Is it the standard?
Yeah,
Okay.
just hit function twice, like quite quickly, and it will it will show a little microphone on the screen, and it will do talk to text transcribing. I do that for everything: emails, replying to support tickets, talking to ChatGPT. Like, it's so good.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
Awesome.
I want to be mindful of people's time. So I feel like I could go on forever. Yeah, there's not enough time. But essentially what I would recommend is if you are not utilizing AI at like, it sounds like a lot of you are using it at a high level, but what I recommend is choosing one area that you're trying to create leverage in your business. If you have a process that you're trying to figure out what's taking a lot of time and a lot of resources from your business, and then hit record on your phone and map it out. Ask AI to be your strategic partner and your co-pilot, and have it ask you the questions that it needs to know in order to help you solve this problem. And then go on and just create that back and forth experience with AI to create the solution that you're looking for. And I recommend choosing one platform and kind of sticking with it until you really understand and learn how to use it at a high level. If you would like to know more information, or if you have a specific use case that you want to kind of see how you can use voice AI, or if you want to build a custom AI solution that's maybe integrating with some of your tools, a lot of the things that I do are congruent with Go High Level. So like I have this content studio that I integrate in, that I have created all of these types of like a knowledge-based creator and a custom variables assistant and all the types of things where I've spent hours upon hours upon hours of creating the prompting logic behind it so that the user doesn't have to be a prompt engineer. So they can literally just be a knowledge expert about what it is that they do, and they can tell me about their business. They can tell me about the things that they know about, but my tools guide them through it without them having to be a prompt engineer. And I integrate this into their Go High Level. So if I have a client that wants to create a newsletter, once I have their knowledge-based documents, they can literally say, do June's newsletter, and it will full on write out their entire newsletter, or it will write out their TikTok scripting. And so a lot of the tools that I build for agency owners and things like that allow you to kind of like integrate all of this stuff in and create this overall solution that's an add-on to what, maybe other agency owners are doing. And so I'd be happy to help and answer any questions that you have. I have a mastermind that is wrapping up right now, and our next cohort starts in September. that if you're interested in learning how to implement AI at a higher level, it's something where we do classes every other week. It's a 2-hour class. And then on the off weeks, we have office hours where I'm there and you essentially bring your unique use case and what it is that you're struggling with. And everything is very hands-on. We're doing stuff every single day along with me. It's not just like pie in the sky ideas. It's very much application, like learn how to use the tools, learn how to be effective and implement it into your business right now. So, any other questions?
Any questions in the chat there? Tracy was saying that my shortcut for speech to text opens emojis for her. Maybe I set mine as a shortcut and I've forgotten because I've been using it for so long. I thought it
Yeah.
was the standard
Oh,
thing, but anyway,
she's
maybe.
right. I just tried the function twice. It opened emojis on mine as well.
Oh well, use a laughing
Very
one on me. Sorry.
tired.
It must have been my shortcut I set ages ago. But look, thank you so much, Sarah. I think hopefully everyone's taken at least one thing out of here. And I mean, that little nugget that I took about the onboarding is just one great thing. And I think you kind of nailed it earlier when you were saying about like where are you? And we are all probably professionals and power users, but there is so much that there's no way you can be the superpower user. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's always someone who's done something that you never thought of. Like you just did. You just gave me a great nugget there. So having these conversations and talking to other people and just showing people what you've done and sharing this kind of knowledge is just invaluable at the end of the day. Um, I learned a bunch of things in the last 3 days on the course I was on from people that were there. And I don't, well, I kind of consider myself pretty advanced, but I don't think I'm a power user because then I see people that are doing stuff and I'm like, God, I never thought of that. Well, how do you do that? Because there's so many facets to AI from using ChatGPT to the video that you did at the start, which I'm going to speak to you about after this, Sarah. So I
Okay.
need to know more about that. So look, thank you. Has anybody got any last questions? Want to pop your hand up or anything? The recording for this will be on our YouTube channel and in our Facebook group by the end of the day anyway. So I will drop a link here in the chat for you guys. So if anyone wants to get the recording, it will be here in our playlist on YouTube, so you can grab it from there later. Or if you haven't already, definitely jump in. I'll put the Facebook group down here as well. Looks like our
Perfect.
Facebook group survived. We didn't get nuked with all the big ones, so we're okay. Obviously, we're not important enough. But that'll be in there. So if anyone's not in there, that's a great place to come because we do the same thing for SMS and try and help and train and educate in there. So um, cool. I think if there's no more questions, we'd say, look, thank you so much, Sarah. Really appreciate you coming on. Love to have you back another time as well because I think that was really good, and I feel like we were just kind of getting started to a degree.
Yeah, it's hard. It's so hard to do it in an hour. That's why I feel
Yeah.
like I'm like judging myself in what I shared because it's like I don't have enough time. So I apologize if it seems scattered or if it wasn't helpful, but it's like trying to like have people drink from a fire hose and not leave people behind, but also share valuable stuff. So Tracy, to answer your question, you can scan the QR code and that will just do a 15-minute call on my calendar and we can chat about if there's any other things that I can help you with. But yeah, I really appreciate it. This is super fun and I'd love to do it again sometime if you want to do maybe more in depth or maybe something just on voice AI or whatever. So it's been great.
Come back in 3 months, there'll probably be like 3D
Yeah,
hologram videos or something to do
right?
instead. So who knows what we'll have in
Exactly.
3 months' time. So yeah, we'd love to have you back again. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day, morning, evening, wherever you are in the world.
Sounds good.
Thank
Good.
you.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you so much.
Bye.